Oh, hi. You're in the playhouse. Hi, I'm Uncle Paul, and it's time for our very special hellos. Frank, Mr. Sticker Mania, Sticker Granddaughter and Sticker Kid, Patricia of A Little Beatles Corner, Andy and Tom of Two Legs, Mikey Arugula, Rachel's Ghost, Andrew of Parlogram, Beatly Tone, Matthew Street, Andrew Dixon, Beetle Brad, Ken Michaels Radio, Brendan Snyder, Beetle Dave, and Dave Sunstrom. And those are our very special hellos for today. Well, it's time for Object Presentation Artifact Showcase. And I was thinking, I always grew up, of course, here in the U.S. with the United Artists release of A Hard Day's Night. Yes, we know that in the rest of the country, it was the United Kingdom blue cover that Parlophone issued. But again, this is the one that was the soundtrack of the movie with the George Martin incidental music. And as a child, and still to this day, I always really loved this design because it featured the movie look of it. And even though they're out on print again, but most people, again, if you're just in America, you're used to this album cover. And this is just this red, this bold font style was something that I just always enjoyed. So here is, of course, this is the first pressing, and this is the mono version. I have both, of course. And then here is the stereo version, which is about $1 more back in 1964 when this was released. Now, as I mentioned, these have the George Martin incidental music from the film. And this is wonderful. I love this as well. This was another United Artists release of the George Martin, all the instrumentals from the movie. And what's nice is that the 6 or so George Martin instrumentals that are on here interspersed with the 6 new Beatle recordings, like This Boy and I Should Have Known Better, they are the same versions that appear on the Beatle version. But this is all instrumental music. But when you get to the ones that are on this album, they're also on this album. I just always gravitated towards, because I guess we were used to Capitol, and just United Artists seemed like an enigma or something. So I love this album. Actually, I love all the George Martin albums. And this is stereo, and again, of course, on United Artists. Now, we've been talking about the label a lot, and so we're going to show you some items. Now, this is like this is a fan-made thing, but they're very popular. You see them where people take an old record and they melt the record, yes, in their oven, and they then put because it's the original record. And I just think I like to collect anything with the United Artists Hard Day's Night. Oh, okay. Okay, so these are some of my favorite United Artists based on, again, of the design of the 1964 issue of A Hard Day's Night. And, again, the red design. That's our theme here, to show how much was, at least my top 10, of what was technically considered not part of the official United Kingdom Hard Day's Night. Oh, now I get it. Repertoire. So this, as I was just talking about the George Martin album, I love this. This is, because this could have been a Beatles picture release. United Artists did not issue any Beatles songs from that album. It was some type of contractual dispute that Capitol still retained the Hard Day's Night singles. So, like, you don't have a Beatles version, as you know, of A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles on United Artists, because that was issued by Capitol Records. So the only single from the movie released on United Artists, and here's the label, was the George Martin instrumentals that we just talked about from both albums. But they used, of course, the Beatle design because they knew, of course, that was more desirable. But I love this as well. This is And I Love Her and Ringo's theme, This Boy. But as I said, if this was a United Artists Hard Day's Night picture sleeve, it would have worked just as well if it was the Beatle one. Like, I'm sure this is exactly what a Beatle version of this picture sleeve would have looked like. This is a Hard Day's Night, again, using the design, Zippo lighter, and it was issued by the Bradford Exchange. It was a subscription series, and they did 8 all-American albums, like they did Yesterday and Today like this, but we're talking about A Hard Day's Night. See, they didn't get me this time, right? And if you subscribe to the entire subscription series, which I did, of course, they gave you a nice case that you could put them all in with the Beatles logo, and then it even lit up. And that was a good. Sorry, I don't know the exact year on this one, but I feel it was over 20 years ago. And I'm sure, viewers, please correct me, because I'm looking for lots of comments and anything that I don't get exactly right. I welcome that. I'm never insulted by it. So this is probably, to me, the most obscure, but it's the Beatles and anything goes. Remember, they actually had Beatles talcum powder at one point. This is, yes, by a company called Parfumelage, and sorry if I'm getting that wrong. This was issued in 1985, and it still has a aroma. Of course, I've never used it, but I actually like the bottle better than the box because it really shows that Hard Day's Night United Artists work. Of course, it does here too. And even again with the 4 heads is United Artists. But I said, I can't believe it. I'm smelling it now, but I will never put it on my body. This dope. I know I love everything. But again, I said this was my top 10 United Artists memorabilia. This was issued by the Kurt Adler Ornament Company. By the way, no relation to Lou. And this was issued in 2015. A beautiful depiction. I don't think they couldn't have done this any better. So, hanging on the tree every Christmas. And we go back to, we're going to have some original stuff as well. Here's the original music, sheet music book that was released shortly after the film. And it's got lots of pictures and again, all the songs from the film. Oh, this is very nice. Is George with his future wife, Patty Boyd, who we met on the set of A Hard Day's Night. They were married for a very long time. And let's see if there's any more pictures. Yeah, but then like this mirrors the back of the Hard Day's Night LP. This is highly desirable because I love obviously the vintage stuff, and the original vintage stuff obviously is coming much harder to come by. This was a hardcover book issued in 1977 by Chelsea House. And again, great just red design. Maybe not the heads, but still. And this is a complete pictorial record of the movie. I'll just show you a little bit. And it's the entire script of A Hard Day's Night. And what makes this extra special is they have the script from the famous Paul McCartney deleted scene that was just left on the cutting room floor. And so you get to read the script of what would have been in the Paul McCartney section. Now, these aren't rare, of course, but it's fun because we know that the movie has been issued on DVD and VHS many times over. But these are the 1997 release of the DVD. And this is the VHS tape. They use, of course, the same matching artwork, even though the VHS tape had been released much earlier on NPI video. But what makes these special as well is, you may remember, the I'll Cry Instead prologue, which they had all the stills before the actual opening of the credits. So you get to see that on this. I don't think it's on the Criteria version of A Hard Day's Night. But again, viewers, please correct me if I'm wrong. And this is the newest edition. I'm a lunchbox collector. In fact, yes, here I am with my first lunchbox. This was issued this year, and this is available at the Beatles store in celebration of the 1964 Capitol and United Artists albums. And it's just, this is what they call it pops. I just really love it. So I got that one as well. All right, that'll do it for this time. So the Playhouse is closed. Thanks, Joe Friday.